done it! Open up! We'll make...
Sifu is a really great example of how short replayable design can be miles better than the overly bloated design that Ubisoft is such a fan of. There's a very easy way to visualize this. The freedom a game gives you will fall somewhere on this line in between an immersive sim like Deus Ex to a completely railroaded experience like, say, Halo.
I'm receiving a fucking phone call. Not now, I'm being Master Chief.
Okay, sorry, back to the line. I got a little distracted. This isn't just a quality slider either. Games not giving you a lot of freedom is definitely not a bad thing. Though this is inherently subjective, I vastly prefer games that are on this side of things rather than anything put out by Ubisoft in the last 15 years. Sifu is pretty far on the linear side. It's a type of game that I absolutely love. Short, extremely linear experiences that encourage replayability with their mechanics as well as with its structure. Did you see what I did there? Other examples of games designed in this way can be from all sorts of genres, not just beat-em-ups like Sifu is. I would say that really any short linear experience can fit this mold, but especially ones that encourage replayability like Hotline, or hell, even something very writing-based like the Red Strings Club. The game being short is really important, and I would class a short experience as something you can complete in a single session. Roguelikes a la Nuclear Throne would fall into this as well, but they're extremely distinct from the other entries in that they're all about RNG, and lots of them have meta upgrades, whereas something like Mirror's Edge, SUPERHOT, Westerado, or Gunpoint are all very designed and handcrafted experiences, where RNG is relegated to mostly just AI behavior or maybe flavor. The game is always the same every time you play it, and apart from maybe a New Game Plus mode, very little changes except perhaps your capability and your knowledge. A weird paradox begins to arise in definition now when a game's length is largely factored by a player's skill. My first full playthrough of Sifu took just over 8 hours over 3 sessions, so surely it doesn't fit the definition of short linear experience, right? Since I beat it, I've given Sifu a full run with no shortcuts from start to finish every day, and it's all over in less than an hour and a half now. It pretty clearly fits the definition with marks like that. This has the side effect of making your first playthrough always feel very distinct from what comes after. The game tends to become more of a playground than something to struggle against. I was really impressed by how fast Sifu sets up its premise and doesn't waste any of your goddamn time. You play as the main antagonist in the opening level and absolutely destroy anyone and everyone, and you see all the bosses you fight throughout the game helping you to do it. Then, after you kill the protagonist's dad, the immortality age gimmick is immediately introduced right after. That's practically every single story beat and unique mechanical gimmick set up in the first, 10-15 minutes? After that, it establishes everything right here. Here's the game's 5 levels. Go kill everyone in all of them, and you're done. At the end of each one of them is someone responsible for the death of your dad, as to give you a personal connection with each boss. Ubisoft execs dream of being this concise. I could sit here and tell you all about Sifu's mechanics, and I did in early versions of this script, but that's not really what we're here for. I want to bring up how Sifu's unique death mechanic reinforces its whole concept of replaying the game and improving. When you die, you get older and older and can't get up anymore past 70. This gives you a very constant indicator of when you're doing well and when you're doing poorly. If you're a feeble old man by the end of level 1, you're either doing it intentionally or fucking up incredibly bad. But if you're fighting Yang, who's this guy, by the way, when you haven't even gone through the 30s Redditor phase yet, you're probably doing pretty well. This death system carries over in between levels, which gives you another reason to go back and replay levels, to try to get the death counter as low as possible. It's extremely satisfying too, because you know the only way it will go down is if you yourself improve at the game's core mechanics. Furi is a game I would liken to Sifu a lot. Both have an incredibly linear design, both have wicked art styles, both start you with mostly all your combat tools, both are heavily parry focused, and both structure their game around the player getting better at the core combat to progress. Both also kick ass. Oh, and the protagonists are both mutes. Well, not really. The protagonist in Sifu can talk, but only in Batman quotes.
Above this door are the 3 trials. First, I want to fight all of you.
So what kind of game is the exact opposite of this kind of design? How about anything released by Ubisoft? 3 side missions copy-pasted ad infinitum. Overly large map that exists to overwork staff and be an arbitrary selling point, and nothing else. Barely fleshed out characters and passable gameplay straight out of fucking 2007. Don't play Assassin's Creed. Anyway, I want to focus on how Furi is similar to Sifu and how both of them are based around the player getting better. There are so many tricks, many intended by the developers of Furi, that let you optimize your runs to the absolute max, which is awesome. There's an incredible amount of depth here, and right when you start you have access to all of it. You never unlock anything else through the game except, well, your own capability. Each boss tends to lean towards testing a single aspect of your ability, and the two most notable are the second boss, the Strap, who is a massive skill check, and the Edge, who checks how good you are at the melee combat. This all culminates in the final boss, which is hard as all balls. In Sifu, each boss does the same. Most notable would be the second boss, Sean, who is a massive skill check, and Kuroki, who checks how good you are at the melee combat, culminating the final boss, which is hard as balls. Okay, wow, didn't realize the parallels were that extreme. Sifu does have gameplay outside of the bosses though, where Furi has walking, really dramatic walking. Safe to say that Sifu's actual gameplay equivalent is miles better. There's one more game I have to bring up that's relevant to these two. Hitman might seem like a weird comparison at first, but it actually shares a remarkable parallel with the other two games. Sifu, Furi, and Hitman let the player grow better and better at each respective game through repetition. There's an excellent Game Maker's Toolkit video about this, but to sum it up, Hitman 2016, 2018, and 2021 make you feel like 47 by learning the ins and outs of every level by playing them a lot. I think so anyway, I wouldn't really know, I tend to just go walk around as a ninja and kill everyone. All three of these games are this way. You don't really feel representative of the masterful assassin, genetic hyper soldier, or martial arts expert when you first start. But as you play the games more and more and improve, you feel like you absolutely fit into the role because you had to earn that spot. You know what it's like to absolutely suck, and now you can feel great about romping through what you used to find difficult. As you improve, the stranger's wacky-ass look starts to fit better, and the 70-year-old man running through Sifu goes from laughable to terrifying.
Greetings. Can I help you, sir?
No, sir.